When an avoidant secretly wants you back, the first thing they usually do is not reach out directly. Instead, they quietly orbit around you in different ways. You need to truly understand what this pattern looks like, so you stop mixing up their silence with complete lack of care. The truth is often much more complex and more painful than it appears at first. They feel pulled toward you and scared of you at the same time. So rather than walking through the front door and saying they miss you or regret what happened, they stand outside and stare through the windows. They check your social media sometimes, many times each day. They watch every story right to the end and scroll through your posts while reading the comments. If you want the full truth about what avoidants do when they secretly want you back, hit like right now. They zoom in on your pictures and notice who you are spending time with, where you are going, and what kind of life you are building without them. They do all of this quietly, while you sit on the other side of the screen, telling yourself their lack of messages means they feel nothing at all. They ask about you through mutual friends and try to sound casual by dropping your name into conversations as if it does not matter much. They pretend to be only half interested, even though their heart beats faster, because they really want to know if you survived the breakup and if you still have any feelings left. They might even create fake accounts or keep you unblocked without ever saying anything, just so they can stay in that strange middle space. This lets them stay close enough to see you, but far enough to avoid being exposed. For them, distance feels safer than being honest. Watching you from the shadows seems less risky than standing in front of you and asking for another chance. During this time, what you experience is a deep silence that feels loud. You feel abandoned and erased, and sometimes silly for still thinking about them. Yet if you pay close attention, you can notice their orbit through small signs, like your name showing up in story views or a like on a post they should not even see. Every one of those little moments sends your nervous system into high alert because you are still hurting and holding on to hope that maybe it means something. This orbit is their way of compromising with their own fear. They miss you and think about you at night while replaying the last conversations in their mind. They hear your voice when they pass places you visited together. But actually reaching out feels like standing on the edge of a cliff for them. Comment orbit if you've ever felt them watching you from a distance but never reaching out. They wonder, what if you reject them, or act cold, or ignore them the way they once ignored you? What if trying to return makes them face the damage they caused, the apologies they never gave, and the promises they broke? So instead they try to get close in the only way that does not need real courage, by silently hovering around your life. They convince themselves that watching is enough, and that knowing you are okay keeps some small connection alive, without the risk of being fully seen. But the truth is, this orbit is not only about you. It is also about them managing their guilt and longing. If they see you feeling sad, a part of them feels wanted, yet ashamed at the same time. If they see you smiling again, a part of them feels relieved, but also scared that you might move on too far to let them back in. You are learning to breathe again in your own life, and reminding yourself that if they cared, they would reach out. There is truth in that idea, because secretly wanting you back is not the same as being ready to hold you properly. Their lack of action does not mean you are unimportant. It comes from their fear, shame, and avoidance having more power over them than their love does right now. Type yes if you want me to expose every hidden sign an avoidant still wants you. When an avoidant secretly wants you back, they do not begin with big declarations or dramatic statements about their feelings. Instead, they start by standing as close as possible to you without risking their ego or putting their emotional defenses in danger. They watch your healing process like it is a movie playing on a screen, pausing at certain moments and carefully checking for any small signs that you might still feel the same way about them deep inside. They hold tightly onto the comforting idea that they still have some kind of access to you, and that they could step back into your life whenever they finally gather enough courage to do so. This particular part often hurts the most because right now you are putting in the hard, painful work of letting go and moving forward with your life, while they quietly keep you as a comfortable option sitting in the back of their thoughts. Their orbit around you is not the highest form of love at all. It is actually love that feels stuck deep inside layers of fear and hesitation. It becomes connection that is heavily filtered through distance and safety rather than closeness and honesty. It is a type of longing that refuses again and again to grow into real responsibility or meaningful action that would truly matter. Your job during all of this is not to carefully study every single view and like and overanalyze what each small action might mean. Your real job is to remember deep in your heart that genuine love does not just watch quietly from the shadows like a distant observer. Real love finds the strength to step fully into the light, owns all of its past mistakes without hiding, and takes the risk of being truly seen for who they are. You can know somewhere inside that they might be circling your world and thinking about you more than you will ever realize, and still make the healthy choice to keep moving forward on your own path. This is because secret wanting and hidden feelings are never as important as having someone who is willing to show up for you consistently in real, everyday life. When an avoidant secretly wants you back, they begin sending those small, confusing signals that leave you feeling unsure and emotional. These signals can look like a random like on your post, a short, quick reply after a long time, or an inside joke that suddenly appears in your messages out of nowhere. Testing the waters slowly from far away feels much safer and less threatening to them than standing directly in front of you and openly admitting that they miss you and deeply regret how they treated you in the past. They sit alone on their side of the screen, fighting an intense battle with themselves, where one strong part keeps saying to leave everything alone and not open old doors, while another part cannot stop scrolling through your pictures and feeling that familiar emotional pull drawing them back toward you again and again. They carefully look for the smallest and safest possible way to ease that deep inner ache they feel, without putting their pride or carefully built defenses at any real risk. They might tap a like on a new photo where you appear stronger, clearer, and more at peace than before. Or they might suddenly go back to an older picture from months ago that still carries strong memories. That one tiny action becomes their quiet, private way of keeping at least a thin thread of connection alive between you. They might also reply to one of your stories with a simple emoji or a very short comment that carries a lot of shared history and meaning that only the two of you would truly understand. To everyone else looking from the outside, it all looks like nothing important is happening at all. But you know very well how much hidden meaning and emotion can hide behind even that one small line, especially after remembering all the times they once ignored your longer, heartfelt messages without any reply. Your heart reacts so strongly and quickly whenever their name suddenly appears, because for you, it feels like a spark of real possibility and hope, while for them, it is simply a careful safety test to see whether you will still respond warmly and whether they are still safe and welcome in your world after everything that happened. They carefully avoid saying the full, honest words that are truly inside them, because doing so would force them to face your pain directly and deal with the very real possibility of rejection that scares them deeply. So instead, they throw out these small breadcrumbs of attention and then quietly watch from a distance to see exactly how you will react to them. If you reply in a warm and open way, they feel a wave of relief wash over them without having to do any of the deeper emotional work or take real accountability. If you reply more slowly or with less energy than before, they feel a sharp sting of discomfort. But they quickly protect themselves by creating new stories in their mind, instead of facing the honest truth about what they did and how it affected you. Sometimes their signals appear as concern, like checking in to see if you are okay. On the surface, it sounds caring, but often it calms their own worry about where they stand with you. Other times, jealousy shows up wrapped in a joke about who is in your pictures, or how active you seem now. These small moves are meant to make them feel safer, not to make you feel secure. You have to stay honest with yourself that longing is not the same as readiness. Their tiny actions come from inner conflict, but you deserve more than crumbs. Every time you treat a breadcrumb like a full apology, you teach them they do not need to step up completely. You have the power to decide what these signals mean for your own healing and standards. Share this video with someone trapped in an avoidant situationship. Instead of big sorry, they often slide back through casual contact, pretending it is no big deal, while hoping you will open the door without them admitting their true feelings. This stage feels confusing and tiring because your heart hears one thing while their behavior says something else. They come with convenience rather than honesty, so messages looked like random memes or quick questions they could have answered themselves. For them, casual contact soothes their anxiety without facing guilt. They get relief from knowing you do not hate them, and they still have some access. They avoid saying they hurt you or miss you deeply, and instead hope you will carry the emotional weight again. They may act as if the breakup never happened and drop in with simple greetings, ignoring the months of silence. When you reply politely, they see it as the door still being open. They pretend to others that it was nothing serious, but inside, their heart races with every message. The more you heal, the clearer it becomes that they want closeness without accountability. They want the comfort of your presence without looking you in the eye and admitting they handled things badly. You can easily get pulled back into old patterns if you over-explain or over-give while they stay light and distant. Every engagement risks your heart against someone who still acts like nothing matters deeply. Casual contact sometimes comes wrapped in practical questions about shared memories or humor with inside jokes that pull on old intimacy. They check if the bond still feels alive without admitting they miss you. What they avoid is facing how they left, acknowledging your hurt, and showing real change through consistent actions. This is where your growth matters most, because the newer, stronger version of you can ask if these small efforts are truly enough anymore. You deserve someone who knocks on the door clearly and says they know what they lost and are here fully. When they see you healing and growing stronger, it scares them while pulling them closer at the same time. They may show jealousy, subtle panic, or sudden interest while claiming nothing has changed. This shift happens because you stopped chasing and started focusing on yourself, which creates emotional space they feel strongly. They got used to being the center of your attention, so your independence threatens that old balance. Their comments about you changing or moving on fast reveal real fear underneath the jokes. When you become calmer, their increased contact shows their safety net is disappearing. Your healing forces them to face the reality of losing someone who truly cared. They replay everything in their minds, thinking about your voice, your laughter, and your tears. They remember moments where they shut down or made you feel too much. Late at night, they wonder if they walked away too quickly and caused unnecessary pain. These private thoughts show their inner conflict, but thoughts alone are not enough for a healthy future. Their regret and what-ifs cannot build something real unless matched by visible actions. You live in reality where your heart was hurt, so you must honor your need to be loved in ways that do not break you again. Thoughts cost nothing, while real change requires them to face fear and patterns. Keep walking toward your own peace and strength, because you are enough to move forward without settling for secret wanting. If this just described your ex perfectly, comment "alert" below. You deserve clear, consistent love in the daylight, not just quiet orbits and mixed signals at night. Stay anchored in your healing, and remember that real connection steps forward with honesty and effort. This understanding helps you choose what is best for your heart, without getting lost in their hidden feelings. Your growth and self-respect matter most as you create space for better things ahead. Like, comment which sign hit you the hardest, and subscribe for more avoidant philosophy to protect your heart.